name's Kirsten Lamb. I work for Standard Life as a strategic change consultant. Standard Life are a pensions and investments company. I initially worked in the tourism industry after leaving university. That was my kind of ambition, and joined Standard Life on a graduate scheme 9 years ago. There was a very planned route for you, so you have four placements over 2 years, which I'd actually completed 3 over 2 years, doing slightly longer placements, and knew that I wanted to work in some form of team management role and move up through that direction. When I left school, I went straight to university and I studied hospitality and tourism management, and that was always what I wanted to do, was work in the tourism industry, and I'd known that from a very, very young age. When I left university, I joined BMI British Midland at Edinburgh Airport as ground staff. Done that for a few years until I realised shifts were quite hard work, and that getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning when your friends were coming home from a nightclub wasn't really ideal. And I left to go overseas to work for Cosmos Holidays as a overseas representative, and then done that for 1 year, and then worked for Cosmos as a operations assistant. And after that I moved back home. At the time though, it was quite frightening, not knowing what I was going to do next. But making that decision to actually stay at home and find a job for me was a lot of soul searching. Working overseas was by far and away the best 2 years of my life, but coming back home and getting settled into a good career was probably a good move at the time that I'd done it. So I don't have regrets as such. I look back and think, oh, it'd be lovely to still be living in the sunshine, but no regrets. I seen an advert for a degree in our local newspaper when I was in my first year at school, and it was for hospitality and tourism management, and I cut it out. I actually still have it. I cut it out and handed it to Mum and Dad and said, I'm doing that. And I'd always wanted to work in travel from an even younger age, but I said, I'm doing that degree, and I'd done it. I really enjoyed school, and I kind of, you laugh when you look back and people say the best days of your life. Actually, yes, it was. So I was out with some girls at the weekend that I hadn't seen for 18 years from school, and one of them said that she actually said to me, you were very studious, you did work really, really hard. But I felt I had to work hard to achieve what I wanted to do. So I knew I was aiming for something, and I had to work hard to get there. But I enjoyed it and had good relationships with the teachers. I do remember at one point I chose craft and design, which I don't have a technical or an artistic bone in my body, and quit after about 3 weeks, and thought the teachers were going to give me a really hard time, and they didn't. They were like, no, you've probably done the right thing actually. You weren't very good anyway. And tended to focus more on languages and geography as well. So I got a lot of encouragement, I think, because I was quite focused as well. You know, you stress about exam results, and you think if something comes through, you don't get the result that you want, it's the end of the world, when actually it's not. There's lots of different routes. I mean, I was probably quite lucky I got the grades that I needed to get into university, but looking around me now and knowing what other opportunities are available, it probably wasn't as big a stress as I thought it was at the time. My mum was a bank manager. She took early retirement a few years ago, and my dad was a bus driver. He retired to ill health a few years ago. But they both, neither of them, they were straight from school as well into their jobs. I very much rooted my own way, got a lot of support from Mum and Dad, and their biggest support for me was just always try your best. I was under no pressure to do anything, I just had to try my best. I don't think anything prepares you for the transition from school to university. It's a completely different world. Really weird, really weird. Like, what am I doing? Am I going to fit in here? This is so different. Very much your own responsibility for your own time. But I enjoyed it. I really stuck at it, enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my degree. Probably didn't live the university life to the full, which is probably one of my only regrets. I lived at home and commuted to university every day. But when I first finished university, it was a bit of a, I'd always wanted to do this degree, and all of a sudden I've graduated, and I graduated with a first, which was a big shock as well. It was a case of, what do I do now? I've ticked that box, what next? Do what you enjoy doing. Don't do what you think is the right thing to do. So if somebody says you get a business degree because it's the right thing to do, it doesn't matter what you have, because I think your qualifications are representative of your ability to apply yourself as opposed to your knowledge in a specific area. I very much feel that because I've got a tourism management degree and I work in financial services, and I'm currently installing a computer system. None of it matches, but it's proof of how I can apply myself.